Hey there, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video, and this is a Patreon request for Jack Thompson. Thank you so much. For those interested, you can request any type of reviews, re-reviews, topics, reviews of movies or something else, reactions, lists, or even stuff like this, articles, pretty much any type of video. You can request it by sending it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And he asked me to look through these about six. He says it's like strange trivia, so I haven't looked at these yet, but we will see how it goes. This one is on Agent Red, which I have seen. I did it when I did my Dolph Lundgren marathon, and real quick, like, Agent Red to me is one of Dolph Lundgren's worst films. There's a lot of stock footage. When you have low-budget films that take place on a submarine, more than likely you don't have stock footage from either Crimson Tide or The Hunt for Red October or both. And it's a lot of we're in these compact sets that look like a submarine, and the submarines are not the most interesting, visually appealing sets for an action film. And it just, I don't know, Agent Red just was up there as one of his worst. But apparently this is, I guess, some of the backstory on it, which I heard a bit about before, but this is what is said here. After the film was completed, producer Andrew Stevens deemed the movie too inept to be released. Well, I can't blame him. The release version is too inept to be released. Damien Lee screwed things up so bad that writer Steve Latshaw was brought in to at least make the movie half competent, while Jim Wynorski was hired to direct some new scenes and insert stock footage where appropriate. So the original cut did not have stock footage. Someone who worked on post-production at Phoenician during the Agent Red crisis let me in on this tidbit of knowledge. Back in the day, we used to pass around a VHS at the first assembly of Agent Red, as it was an example of probably the most unwatchable film ever to be pumped out of that company. We went through 3 editors and 2 directors trying to fix the film without any reshoots, until finally the powers that be were convinced that reshoots had to be done. I love the commentary with Damien Lee where there's a cut from a stock shot of a jet to an interior of Dolph as a pilot, and he actually has the balls to reference Eisenstein and the art of editing. Amazing. You know what? I'd be curious to see that original cut. Just how bad Agent Red is, you're telling me there's a worse version? How is there a fucking worse version of that movie? From screenwriter Steve Latshaw. As I recall, 40 minutes of the original 100-minute assembly was dumped, then replaced with 40 new minutes. The original assembly opened with shaky video of Russian bio teams. Shaky video from scenes supposedly filmed in 1971. Yeah, and Ponder's narration. The film was missing entire halves of dialogue sequences between Randolph Mantooth and the president. No footage of the president. The U.S. sub-commander and Russian military officers. No Russian military. Connective scenes, transition scenes, action scenes only partially covered, etc. We created the new action opening with all the stock footage from Stormcatcher and Solo. Just the Marv Van Peebles film. New briefing scenes with Dolph and Stephen Mott. A terrorist attack on an oil tanker. New scenes with President Bill Monroe, and new scenes with Steve Franken and Pete Spellos as Russian military leaders. We also added a lot of connective sequences and action pieces to the rest of the film. It was quite a chore. The film itself had an interesting origin. In 1999, at a party of Fred's, Andrew Stevens asked me if I'd like to rewrite Countermeasures for Dolph Lundgren. Countermeasures, that's a Michael Dudikoff film. I said, sure, just name the price. Apparently a short time later, Damien Lee made a deal to write and direct, so they went with him. In fact, one entire sequence from Countermeasures, directed by Fred, Fred Owen Ray, was actually dropped whole cloth into Agent Red. In the film, the American sub taken over by terrorists is pursued by another American sub. A tense battle ensues, with the good guys eventually blown out of the water, when the terrorists fired countermeasures. They lifted this entire sequence, actors and all, only shooting new footage of the Agent Red terrorists. So the best scene in the movie was directed by Fred Olen Ray. That's sad when you're using entire footage from a fucking movie like Countermeasures. Which I know there's some people who liked it. I wasn't even that impressed with Countermeasures alone. 40 minutes of new footage. Wow. So this is stock footage from Solo. I knew that looked familiar. I recognize the stuff from Stormcatcher because I actually don't mind Stormcatcher. Stormcatcher is a Dolph Lundgren film. Again, I believe I reviewed that when I did my Dolph Lundgren marathon. Stormcatcher is directed by Anthony Hickox, who did Waxwork 1 and 2. He did Hellraiser 3, Full Eclipse. Had a couple of decent action scenes. It went on at a good pace. Dolph has some fun moments, like when he's trying to be a New Yorker, like a Brooklyn accent. The initial cut of the film was 94 minutes. The new director cut about 40 minutes out of the film. You aren't missing anything. Working with a new cut that ran about 15 minutes, I wrote all the new material. I'm quite certain those scenes will never see the light of day. You know what? I'd be curious to see that original cut. Because... okay, I guess this is the other part of the interview with the writer. How did you become involved with the film? In 1990, well, he says 98 here. I was approached by Andrew Stevens to rewrite my script Countermeasures of the Dolph Lundgren film. Some months later, I discovered they had instead hired Damian Lee to do the job. Thought nothing more of it. I suspect there was much hand-wringing, recrimination, and general fear and loathing after the film was completed. About 40 minutes of it was scrapped. It's a 100% improvement. In our version, it at least plays as a movie, has action, pacing, and makes sense, within its own terribly unique framework. Even in its refined state, you yourself have mentioned that Agent Red is not really any good. At least being honest, good. And the film has since gained a reputation as one of the most horrible action films in recent years. Do you have any thoughts about the movie's reputation? As my name is not on it, I am the picture of indifference. At the end of the day, these are just movies. I dare say it plays better than a few drinks. After a few drinks. No, it doesn't. Even if you're drunk, you will hate the movie. I mean, I knew that there was some stuff. When I reviewed Agent Red, I knew that there was some type of backstory. But that's actually cool to know a bit more of the backstory that... So the original cut did not have any... the way it says here, the original cut did not have any stock footage. That's interesting. It makes me wonder now, just out of curiosity, just how bad that original cut was. I mean, and Damian Lee, yeah, he's... Why the hell did you hire him in the first place? So, 40 minutes. I mean, you're still entire scenes with countermeasures that you're up shit creek. So, there you go. But that was interesting. So, this one... Okay, yeah, I've heard about this. This is where I got my info on Steven Seagal stuff and when I did my Steven Seagal marathon. Stories about Seagal from directors, co-stars. Yeah, this is a story from Stephen Tobolowsky where at first his character was supposed to die, but then Seagal's like, I don't want to kill him. I don't want to kill him. I said, but wait a minute, it's important because I'm a serial killer. And I think even... and the director's like, don't talk to Seagal about it. Seagal was, Seagal, it's like, hey, Steven, we hired you because you're good at killing people, you know? he's a serial killer, you're supposed to kill him. And Seagal's like, but I don't want to kill him. I don't want to kill him. So, yeah, I remember hearing about that. Ticker. Albert Pujo's shoot for Ticker was a disaster. A day before the shooting started, the producers told him that the shooting schedule would be a lot shorter than was announced. Also, the budget was since the budget was increased with 50%, I think maybe it meant decreased. During the shoot, Albert almost got sick with the flu. There's a director's cut. Yeah, I heard about that. Albert Pujon says Seagal helped him during the shoot. Probably Albert Pujon with some medicines helped him overcome his disappointment about the budget and shooting schedule. Well, Albert Pujon is probably one of the only directors to have something nice to say about Seagal. Mercenary for Justice. We shot for 28 days. The story was confusing because there were 4 writers on the film and things were left over from draft to draft. I pointed all this out but the producers did not care. Also, the producers cut scene number 101 from the shooting schedules that played right in the middle of the film. It caused a domino effect before and after. This scene was to tie up in the movie. I talked until I was blue in the face trying to convince them the decision was a huge mistake. They did not care. It was a scene where 2 terrorists were to meet up and set the plan in motion to expose 2 other guys. A fight scene was to take place as 1 terror left the hotel, where Seagal had to take on 4 guys so girl could slip away. It's not that the producers were stuck up, they just hated Seagal and their whole existence was to destroy him, staff and personnel, and the film. The day I arrived, they showed me a lawsuit that had already been prepared and was ready to file if Seagal gave them any problems. They eventually did file the lawsuit in LA after the film was finished. It was settled out of court. Company had since done the film with Seagal. You know what, honestly, I wonder it's because by that point they knew Seagal was such a pain in the ass, causing so much friction. They're like, we need to get him the f out of this deal. How the hell do we get him out of this deal? Well, because if he's causing so much trouble for us, it's like, you know what, maybe you should have known that before you made a fucking deal that big. Mercenary for Justice, Today You Die. Attorneys for actor Steven Seagal have filed a fraud and breach of contract lawsuit against the producers of 2 films. Starring the internationally known action star Seagal is owed $835,000 for starring an independent picture called Mercenary. Oh, they just titled Mercenary, not Mercenary for Justice. The lawsuit, filed Thursday in the LA County Superior Court, comes days after New Image and Killmaster Productions sued Seagal for $14 million, claiming the actor caused production delays on the set of Mercenary and a second film, Today You Die, but routinely arriving late on the set, rewriting the script, and allowing members of his entourage to interfere with the work of crew members. That's a common thing you hear about with Seagal, that he arrives late. I think the director of Out for Justice said that. John Flynn. One of the actors from Half Past Dead, Morris Chestnut, he said the same thing because he has an interview. He talked about how, you know, it wasn't really great working with Seagal because he would arrive late. So plenty of people talk about how this is a guy that loves to be late. It's definitely probably not late to the fucking buffet, but what can you do? Urban Justice. Steven Seagal does not show up for ADR. I told the Post Sound House we had to use all of Seagal's production sound. It was very time consuming, filtering and manipulating Steven's voice, but worth it. So yeah, Urban Justice, that's why there's not a lot of another voice, because Seagal does not do ADR. I mean, Don Fauntleroy confirmed that right here. Which is why you have shitty fucking, who the fuck voice is that? and stuff like Attack Force, because he's too fucking lazy to do his job and do the ADR. That's part of your fucking job. That's part of what you're getting paid for. You fat fuck. I like Seagal's early work, but I reviewed 99% of his movies, including his direct-to-video stuff. 99% of his direct-to-video stuff are fucking junk. And all the stories I hear about him, yeah, I'll call him a fat fuck. The early Steven Seagal, like the film-wise, he got my respect. The shit he does now, where it's mostly his fucking stunt double and can't do his ADR and treats everyone like shit, fuck him. Oh, Black Dawn. Is that the movie with the fucking McDonald's on the dashboard? Black Yawn. Director Alexander Gruzinski answered a lot of questions about his experience during Black Dawn, and he didn't hold back. Here's the director. Thanks for posting here. I was less than happy with the final film. In fact, I would go as far as to say I hated it. That's cool. I hated it too. There were numerous problems associated with it, not least Seagal's behavior on set, the abysmal help from studio, and Andrew Stevens' own personal interference. I was offered the chance to direct Seagal in a new movie in Vancouver in spring, but I turned them down. What did Seagal do wrong? I noticed that he was not involved in any of the fight scenes. Why? Let's see. Oh, okay. He bullied and coerced several members of the cast and crew on my film set. Let's see. Yeah. He bullied and coerced several members of the cast and crew on my film set, held up production continually, and treated a particular co-star in a very disrespectful manner. Why do I think that was a woman? He was not involved in any of the fight scenes because he didn't want to. Simple as that. He was often morose and moody, and if he didn't want to do it, he wouldn't. He would say, all I have to do is just punch this guy, end of scene. He was just lazy. Exactly. Thank you, Director Alexander. Yes, Seagal is fucking lazy. That's one of the problems. He's fucking lazy. It's, oh, I'm doing this film. I'm getting paid anyway. Blah, 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 blah. I don't give a shit. Can I go back and get a hooker or whatever? Eventually he called Andrew, and Andrew called me back and said, if he's feeling tired, then leave it. Don't force him. Eventually I had to shoot a scene with a stunt double on the last day of shooting just so that it looked as if he was doing some fighting. If you've seen the final film, you know it's obvious it's not Seagal. The fight on the staircase when Seagal was going upstairs in the hotel to bust in on the crooks. Eventually we had to use a lot of blue screen. My idea was to spend $15,000 on hiring a professional lot in LA that I used to many of the other movies, but money instead went to the post-rap party at the Hilton in LA. It was not the way to make a movie. That's why I won't work with those people ever again. And then he talks about the company. The way Andrew Stevens Entertainment works is that they pay Seagal, in this case, an outright fee to just confirm he will be in the movie. Then a group of writers usually scrape together a film on the spot to meet the deadline. Usually the script is continually changed throughout the movie, prolonging production. In the case of Black Dawn, Seagal insisted that he play the character Jonathan Cold. This was not supposed to be a sequel to The Foreigner, which I had not seen, and I'm missing much. I was instructed then go back and watch The Foreigner, go ensure I made Black Dawn as similar to it as possible. Of course, this did not happen. I'll give you an example of how strange Seagal can be. On the DVD release, there's an interview of him taken in Thailand just before the film shot in LA. For this interview, he specified that he sit on a throne that had been used by the previous king of Thailand for 25 years. The interview had to take place in the Imperial Gardens of the U.S. Embassy in Bangkok. Seagal would not take photo shoots for the Black Dawn cover and publicity stills unless this interview was included on the DVD when released. Andrew Stevens then specified that there would be a ludicrous picture of two people doing flying kicks on the front cover when none of this happened in the movie. Exactly. I think I even said that when I did my fucking review. If I didn't, I'll say it now. Yeah, why is it... It takes the patience of Job to get a good performance out of Seagal and to get that time out of him. This is about CGI. Mostly because of the money. Why was so much CGI used? mostly because the money was taken away from us for lavish parties and to pay for Seagal's entourage. Seagal walked around with 7 bodyguards all the time during the shoot. Well, Seagal, if you think you're so goddamn tough that you think Michael Jai White and Van Damme and all these guys are such pussies, why do you need 7 bodyguards? Just saying. You want to say, can I laugh in your face? Can I laugh in your face in interviews about Michael Jai White, and you don't want to give Dolph Lundgren his props, but you need 7 bodyguards. Okay. Maybe it's from the people who watch his movies, his direct-to-video stuff. Come up and spit on him. You couldn't get to talk to him without getting past those 7 bodyguards. One day they went to a Chinese restaurant midway through shoot and racked up $25,000 bill, which went on Andrew Stevens Entertainment's credit card. The net result, we lost 2 days worth of shooting on the dumpster truck chase scene and to use some dodgy blue screen. At the end of the movie, we were over budget and Seagal had moved on to another movie, so I had to use a computer friend at the last minute to put together a bad impersonation of the ocean when the nuclear devices dropped. The studio would not pay the extra money to shoot on quality film. I mean, I don't know how much he wanted me to go through this, but I think at least Black Dawn. So yeah, I did hear about that. So it's Seagal. I'm not fucking surprised with Steven Seagal's dumbass. It's like when he tried to body checked John Leguizamo on the set of Executive Decision and countless other stories. Let's see, this one is for Knockoff. Action movie hero Van Damme was fined $1,200 and put on 3 years probation for drunk driving and driving without a license. Van Damme, 39 at the time, was arrested on Sunset Boulevard, Beverly Hills in September. He originally pleaded not guilty but later charged the plea to no contest. He must attend a 90-day alcohol education program. His driving will be restricted to travel to and from work and the court order program. Commenting on Van Damme's decision to change to his plea, the actor's lawyer, Trent Copeland, said, Mr. Van Damme believed that having weighed the equities of proceeding with a protracted trial, balanced against his professional schedule, it simply made more sense at this time to enter a plea, in this case to put it behind him. The actor's defense claims that the police officers allowed him to get into the Mercedes-Benz car, smash into a wall, and drive off even though they suspect he might be drunk. Copeland said recordings and transcripts of the deputies communicating with each other between cars show that they knew or believed him to be intoxicated. They still allowed him to get into his vehicle and drive his car because they wanted to make an arrest for driving under the influence, which is a lot sexier than a simple drunk in public. The deputies are also alleged not to have asked Van Damme his real name, which led to him being charged with driving without a license. If they had, Van Damme would have told him that the real name of Jean-Claude Varenberg was on his license, which he did not have with him at the time. Well, I mean, I don't know what to say. Van Damme, this was a bad point in his life. I mean, 2000. I mean, this says July 11, 2000, so I think Universal Soldier: The Return came out in 99, so the thing is, this is not, yeah, it probably would be after Universal Soldier: The Return. But this is around the time that things were dark with Van Damme. I mean, he had a drug problem for a while and marriage problems, and some of it his fault, to be fair. I love Van Damme, but I think he would be the first to admit he's fucked up. He's admitted he's fucked up on Behind Closed Doors, the Van Damme show that was like following his life around. He's admitted he's fucked up, was something Seagal never does. So I appreciate that Van Damme will admit that he's fucked up, and he fucked up. You know, his what he thought was his big comeback, Universal Soldier: The Return, got demolished at the box office, demolished critically, although I think it's an underrated fun film. This is when he's now going straight to direct to video. Films like The Order and then you had Second Command and I mean, I don't know what else to say about the article to Jack Thompson. I don't know what else to say. You know, I it has a picture from Knockoff, but if it's July 11, 2000, Knockoff was years before that. So, uh, so yeah, because again, I think '99 was Universal Soldier: The Return. Yeah, I heard about Theodore Rex, but yeah, that's a horrible movie. Crew members left Crew members left constantly during production. Whoopi Goldberg once said that on her final day of shooting, 99% of the crew was different from the first day. Most of the actors signed on thinking the dinosaur would be computer enhanced. Whoopi Goldberg made a verbal agreement to star in the film in 1993. When she tried to back out, producer Richard Gilbert Abramson sued her for $20 million. The suit was settled very quickly when Goldberg agreed to star for $7 million, $2 million more than the original agreement. But how do you sue for a verbal agreement? Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it verbal. If it's not on paper, does it really have any legal, I don't know if anyone who is a viewer of mine is a lawyer. I doubt it, but I'm just saying, if anyone, you let me know, how does that work legally? Like, does a verbal agreement mean anything unless it's signed? It's like, nah, he's lying. I didn't say it. But I guess it's like, hey, $7 million. At this time, she wasn't getting paid $7 million any other ways. I would star in Theodore Rex for $7 million. I can't blame her for that. If someone came up to me and said, Matt, you don't star in Theodore Rex 2. What? We're going to pay you $7 million. Okay. I'll be, yes, sir. No, sir. What do you want, sir? For $7 million, I would do it. Fuck yeah. And then, you know, I have a good story and make fun of it years afterward. And even if, you know, after taxes, probably take like $6 million, still have $1 million. Fuck yeah, I would do it. Whoopi Goldberg wanted to leave the film during the production. The film was intended for theatrical. Yeah, I remember this. It tested poorly with older test audiences, so the studio released it straight to video, where it could make more money in the lucrative kids video market. Since it was completed in its original theatrical studio budget, it became the most expensive straight to video film ever at the time of its release. It was shown theatrically in many countries, including Germany, Spain, France, Japan, Portugal, the UK, South Africa. The director retired from directing after this film. He felt the studio didn't market it correctly. There's no way to market it. $33.5 million budget. Just the idea of the film, they're like, we're going to have a buddy movie where it's a person and a dinosaur. How is that ever supposed to work? I mean, this is for a guy that likes the Ninja Turtles, and even I'm like, how the hell is that supposed to work? It wasn't funny. I appreciate I appreciate it's practical, but the practical effects aren't really that good, honestly. But I appreciate it's practical. The dinosaur won fucking cookies. You take this fucking cookie. I barely remember the film. That's why I'm trying to. I barely remember Theodore Rex. I did hear about that, and someone should ask Whoopi Goldberg about that movie. That would be hilarious. Someone asked her about it. I do wonder why the crew members left. Like, what was it about the production they left? Because, I mean, just because it's a bad film, I mean, look at some of the worst films ever. A lot of those films, the crew didn't leave to the point that 99% of the crew was different. So was it conditions? Like, what was the deal? See, that's a documentary I would see. The Telephone. Yeah, I heard about this. Wait a minute. This is the link he gave me. I'm not seeing... not seeing anything. Telephone. Huh. But I do know about this one. I ranted on the film. Nee. Where she sued and she didn't want the film released, but like, no, your release is going to get released, so tough titty. And she didn't win the lawsuit. Like, she did not want this film released. Because I ranted on this film. And I think I talked about, I think the rant is still up. Nee. Yeah, she did the film. I think Rip Torn directed it. Like the actor Rip Torn. And then she didn't want to release. It's like, too bad, Whoopi, we're releasing it because of the success of your other films and work. So, okay, it got released, and it's a piece of shit. The whole film is her in a goddamn room, talking on the telephone, doing all these skits with the phone, and then all, by the end, I think it was James Belushi or something, like if some actor, might not be James Belushi, but someone comes in, don't take the phone away, she kills the guy, and you found out the whole time that the phone was not hooked up. She's just crazy. And just the worst Whoopi Goldberg performance. I would rather watch Theodore Rex than this piece of shit. But if you see the film, you know what the fuck nee means. Or watch my review. Nee. Just fuck. Fucking hell. It doesn't work for a film. Maybe it's something that works better on a play. You know, one woman show on a play. Doing a play. But not as a movie. It's not funny and just irritating performance. Boring film, too. As for Death Wish 2, Charles Bronson's alcoholic brother often visited the set to borrow money. Bronson was careful not to give him too much in case someone might kill him for it. He was later found dead in a cheap hotel room, having been stabbed in the ass? Really? His brother was stabbed in the ass. Why does this say the buttocks? Is that something you read every day? Golan and Globus wanted Isaac Hayes to compose the music. The director refused and brought in Jimmy Page. You know what? I gotta go with Michael Winter. Jimmy Page's music is great. And most of that music was just used in Death Wish 3 anyway, which is where I first heard it. So I think that score was fantastic, and I'm glad he made that choice. The woman who played the housekeeper said the rape scene was grueling and took about 6 days to film. To prepare for the role, she talked to an actual rape victim. She also said the actors who played the criminals raping her would immediately cover up with a robe or a blanket when Michael Winter yelled cut. That was nice of them. Charles Bronson was 59 years old when he appeared in the film. Yeah, it's pretty old. The film was shot on location to depict the actual sleazy areas of the city. To good effect. David Engelbach admitted that he was somewhat appalled by the final cut and how different it was from the original script. Scenes were added so that Michael Winter could get his rocks off. I can't confirm that. I mean, that could be someone just saying that because they don't like the guy. So say something horrible about him. I mean, I can't confirm that because I wasn't there. Roger Ebert gave the film 0 stars. Yeah, I'm not surprised. In West Germany, this movie set a record for the number of video cassette units sold. Wow, I got so excited. VHS. Charles Bronson insisted that if Jill Ireland was to be cast as the love interest, her character would not be brutalized or assaulted by any of the villains. And his mandate was accepted by the producers. First ever sequel for Charles Bronson. The only Death Wish film in which the central love interest doesn't die. Yeah, that is true. That is one of those weird things where the thing with Paul Kersey is don't be friends with him because you will die. There's a 9.99% chance out of 10, or I should have said 99.99% out of 100 chance that you will die if you know Charles Bronson's Paul Kersey. If he buys a cat, it will get raped and killed. I mean, I don't know really what else about the trivia that you wanted me to talk about. 8 years after Death Wish, no shit, Sherlock. We know how to count, Mr. Trivia Guy. Stanley Kubrick cast Kevin Major Howard in Full Metal Jacket after seeing him in this film. Can you imagine Stanley Kubrick watching Death Wish 2? That's funny. Just I don't know why that makes me laugh. Michael Winner has suffered a downturn in his career since the mid-70s with no box office hits, so he returned to this franchise and took the initiative in revising David Engelbach's script. Originally, Natalie Wood would have starred in the film, and Menem Golan was planning to direct, beginning principal photography in '81. However, Natalie Wood does not appear in the film, and Golan fulfilled the role of producer. No shit. The odd number Death Wish movies take place in New York, where the even number ones take place in LA. Well, that's strange. I wonder... Actually, that is strange now that I think about it. Yeah, 1, 3, and 5 are in New York. 2 and 4 wow. Well, 4, not the whole thing isn't in LA, but I guess... I kind of get what they mean, though. Michael Winner recalled that Daniel De Laurentiis was having second thoughts about letting someone else produce the sequel and offered to hire him to do the film for his own production company. Michael Winner refused, and Daniel De Laurentiis did not renege on his deal with Cannon. The producer did, however, start work on a clone of the film, and that was Fighting Back from 1982. Jimmy Page was given a deadline of a few weeks to write and record the soundtrack at his personal studio. Well, he did a good job. Again, that's a great score. To me, that score really fits the film extremely well. Let's see. The idea to produce a sequel to Death Wish originated with producers Golan and Globus, owners of the Cannon Group. They reportedly announced their plans to do so prior to actually securing the rights to the franchise. Daniel De Laurentiis, co-producer of the original, threatened them with a lawsuit unless they properly purchased the rights. He negotiated payments for himself Co-producers Hal Landers, Bobby Roberts, and original author Brian Garfield. The agreement included future payments for each prospective sequel. So that means they got money, I guess, for Death Wish 3, 4, and 5. Yeah, I'm not sure what Jack Townsend wanted me to talk about with the trivia, I guess with the... I guess the first one. That's probably it. I mean, I don't blame him. I mean, that is some strange trivia that Charles Bronson's... I didn't even know he had a brother, Charles Bronson. Alcoholic. And then his brother died in a cheap hotel room with a stabbed in the ass. What a way to go. Yeah, what a way to go. I mean, that's a way to end the video, I guess. I don't mean to laugh. Well, I'm sorry that happened to his brother, but I didn't even know this was 40 minutes. Holy shit. Yeah. Stabbed him in the ass. That's too bad. That's too bad. I mean that sincerely, but it's just, it's not something you hear every day. And now they're both gone. May they rest in peace. Stabbed in the ass. Wow. Don't get stabbed in the ass, anyone watching this. Take care. We will see you guys later. Thank you once again, Jeff, for the request. And take care. Bye-bye.